The guy that's in charge over Hal Moore is a guy named Colonel Brown, and he shows up, going back to the book. Not long after, Colonel Brown flew in, checked on the situation with Alpha Company, and then called me aside. Hal, I'm moving your battalion west tomorrow morning, he said, unfolding his map. Here is your area of operations, north of Chupong in the Idrang Valley. Your mission's the same one you have now. Find and kill the enemy. He rapidly outlined the scope of operations and the resources he could spare. 16 UH-1D Hueys. So that's a Huey helicopter. It's the most, I guess, the most iconic helicopter probably of any military, and certainly of Vietnam. The Huey helicopter is completely iconic. 16 Hueys to move my troops, 2 105 howitzer batteries within range to support us, and at least 2 days on the ground patrolling. He added that Alpha Company of the 229th Assault Helicopter Battalion would provide the helicopters. The 229th A Company commander, Major Bruce Crandall, was on his way now. One more thing, Hal. In that area, be sure your companies are close enough for mutual support. So the reason I highlighted that, a lot of times people have a tendency in combat situations, especially when planning, to get too far apart from each other. And I would see this all the time. And what happens is it seems to make sense because you cover more ground or you have better angles, and it seems like a good idea. Like, hey, we'll just split up and you can take care of your guys and I'll take care of my guys. But you always need to stay within a position where you can mutually support each other, where if we get into trouble, we can cover and move. That's what it is. You want to be able to cover and move. So the minute you're out of sight, out of line of sight, out of radio, out of a distance where your weapons can be used to support, you're alone. That's the thing. You get away from line of sight, radio contact, the distance that weapons can be shot effectively from the other unit that you're out there with. Now you are alone. So when you're planning, make sure, and he's saying in that area, I always use that rule, always, as often as possible. Are there times where you can flex that rule a little bit? Of course there are. There are situations you can get into, and it might be a better tactical call, but always keep in mind what you're doing and what you're sacrificing when you can no longer mutually support the other units that you're out with, and they can't mutually support you. You're alone.